and welcome to a Gooner Ramble. I'm your host James, as per usual. Didn't really want to host tonight, didn't really want to podcast tonight, but here we are, we're doing it. And joining us is regular Was. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, you're right, JJ.
Well, yeah, I've had better days, I've had better Sundays, mate.
Yeah.
And also joining us is the other Jazz. Jazz, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, James, not too bad.
Not too bad. You sound a lot more enthusiastic than me and Michael. But going into today's game, lads, I predicted a 2-1 win. I thought, you know what, we've got a shocking back line, but Moreno on his day is piss poor, and we'll speak more about that later. And I was quite up for this today. I thought, you know, Liverpool, they're a team that are going to be rivaling us for that, you know, league, that top 4 status, everything else. And I thought the players would be a bit more up for it, but ultimately we were proved wrong. But let's go into the team. Usual Sheck in goal, that's easy. Bellerin, easy. Chambers and Holding together. Now that caused a bit of a stir. Some people were saying he should have called Koscielny back in. Obviously Monreal at left back. Coquelin and El Neni together, and then Iwobi, Walcott, Ramsey and Sanchez. I'll go to you first, Jazz. What did you make of the first 11 when that was read out?
Yeah, I've seen I think get a stick for leaving out Koscielny, but I think we've been burned by that a few times before. I think if you look back to Ozil coming back for the World Cup, and even Alexis last season, they both they came back early, but then the first 3 or 4 months didn't go as planned. So I think you got to be a bit cautious. But then again, at the same time, I think should have gone with Monreal centre back. You need at least one experienced head in there. And he took a gamble and really just backfired.
And I saw you posted a tweet really early in the day about Coquelin and El Neni mentioning they're starting together. I'm guessing you really wanted to see Xhaka start out there. Or Cazorla
I think personally I've had a lot of changes to that starting 11, and I appreciate what Chaz has pointed out about rushing players back, but I think looking at the game, would you suggest that any players are prepared? We've seen 2 players go off with muscle injuries that have had almost a full pre-season, and I just think I personally would have ensured that Giroud, Koscielny and Ozil were all available for today's game, being such a big game. And like you said, the starting 11, I was a bit miffed. You spent £35 million on a defensive midfielder who is, by all accounts, a very, very good footballer, and you've chosen not to start him. And the 2 deep line midfielders at home and young inexperienced centre backs, and like Jazz said, it would be nice to have someone in there to provide a bit of stability and a bit of know-how. But I was very, very surprised with the starting 11, and I was, but I wasn't. And that's the thing that probably upsets me the most, Jojo, to be honest.
No, I totally agree with you now. I just thought about it, you know, I was saying about, you know, Koscielny, he got to the final, and, you know, he couldn't be playing. You know, Payet, like Jamie Redknapp and all that was saying, Payet's definitely going to play for West Ham tomorrow. Bloody Sangye was playing yesterday. Also, you know, I just don't get it. I don't know. You know, he was proven right, I guess, with Ramsey going off. But you know, I weren't happy of seeing a player get injured. But I guess he was right in that aspect, that he needs to give him the rest, because he could have lost Ramsey now for a couple of weeks, as with Iwobi. But going into the match itself, I thought that we started quite well. It seemed a bit sluggish. You know, both teams sort of going for it. Nothing much really happened. Liverpool had a shout for a penalty turned down. Aaron Ramsey had that absolute shot from far out, which was, you know, it was high wide. But I thought personally he should have played Theo through. I thought Theo 1-on-1 against Mignolet, that'd be a great chance. And it got to the 28th minute, and we win a penalty, and up stepped Theo to take it, which I thought was weird. I thought Sanchez would pick this ball up and be having this. But what did you think when Theo got that penalty? Because for me, when I saw it, when I was watching it, I knew he was going to miss. I could see he just looked so nervous when he ran up to it, and his hands were wobbling as he was doing it as well. I just thought he's got no confidence here to bury this, I thought.
Yeah, it's just a funny situation, because like you said, it was very I was expecting new season, new Arsenal with a bit of something different, change of approach maybe, but it was just like watching the same Arsenal we've watched over and over again at the Emirates. And again, in the first half, we only had 3 shots on target in the whole first half. One of them was a penalty. And with regards to the penalty, Moreno, like you said, I mean, the geezer's pony, and let's be honest. Like, what is he doing?
It's a pony haircut to start with, and then to make it worse,
you can't have that on top of your head and then play Premier League football. But he's gone and done that, and Theo's done well to win the penalty. But like you said, I mean, Alexis why is fair play to Theo for stepping up, and he struck the ball well, but it's never a good penalty if it don't go in. End of. Like, you can hit the ball as well as you like or as poor as you like. If you don't go in the net, you ain't had a good penalty from 11 yards, 1-on-1 with a keeper. Do you know what I mean? So he's really, really got to score there. And I don't know what Jazz thinks about the whole situation, but I thought we did do well to win it, despite it being a absolutely ridiculous challenge for Moreno. But Theo committed him, I suppose, in a way, and then won the penalty. But yeah, maybe when you look through that team, I think probably Alexis should have been the man when he stepped up in finals of major tournaments, international level, and won it. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. Maybe Theo requested to have it. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I think he took it on him by himself, but I don't know. I heard from a few on the ground that I think half the ground just pretty much knew that what was going to happen when he stepped up to take it. He didn't look right when he was stepping up.
It's weird, like, I don't really read into the body language and everything, but it was his hands, like, he just literally his hands were like going 10 to a dozen wobbling, and I'm like, he don't want to do that. Either he's been told like the others have gone, I don't want to do it, or he's just gone, I'm going to try and do it myself. I don't know, he just looked off when he took it, and I was just like, he's so going to miss this.
Yeah, it's strange though, Jojo, isn't it? Because like you say, he looked very nervous, but it was almost as if he sort of took it upon himself that he won the penalty and he was going to step up and take it, but he didn't look confident enough for that to be the case. And I mean, obviously, I'm sat a long way away. I can't talk about body language or anything. I ain't got a clue, but you just sort of sense, like you said, a majority of the stadium sort of full. And Jazz touched on it. You just didn't expect him to score, but then he does miss, and you think, bloody hell, that's the end of Theo Walcott, and then it takes him 2 minutes to respond.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're going to move on to that now.
I was just going to say, the build-up play in that goal, if there's going to be some positives, I was well impressed with that. I thought Coquelin, brilliant tackle there, right in there. Iwobi's pass to Walcott's fantastic, but the main credit for that as well is not only assist, is the run by Ramsey that drags the left-back Moreno and the centre-half as well. I think it was the new guy from Estonia, or wherever he was from. He dragged him along, took them out, and Walcott, he was never going to miss from there. And that's the thing. That is just the Theo Walcott conundrum in one. He misses that penalty, and then he goes and finishes like that. And it's like you said, you think, like, he's back now. What Theo Walcott are we going to get? Do you know what I mean? It's so hot and cold. I don't know if there's been a more hot and cold player in recent memory at Arsenal for me. I don't know about you two.
Yeah, you know my thoughts on Theo,
yeah.
and I like him as a footballer, and I like his qualities, and I think today that I just think that there was a massive, massive gap between the midfield 2 and the front 4, as you like it. I mean, I think Ramsey, Walcott, Iwobi and Sanchez were playing on a different pitch to Coquelin and El-Nene, and I think someone needs to bridge that gap. And Theo, he's such, like you said, it's so hard to talk about him because you can see the qualities he's got, but I just think today he didn't really suit anyone on the park, and I couldn't quite work out what was going on from the start of the game, from the team line-up to watching the way the game developed. I couldn't really make out. We just didn't look ready. And missing the penalty and then stepping up and scoring a goal like that, you think, right, 1-0, we can go on from here. But you made a great point as well, JJ, about the Aaron Ramsey run, because it was important. And I actually thought Clavan had a very, very good game today, albeit not against the conventional number 9. But I think he looked solid for Liverpool, and I just think Ramsey took him out of the way there, and it was a good ball from Iwobi, and good finish. But when you go 1-0 up, you got to move on from that, haven't you? And we didn't.
Well, I'll go to Jazz's thoughts about the goal as well.
Yeah, I think it was just indicative of the whole first half. Just in control, and I think we bossed that midfield in the first half, and it's just that's what makes it so gutting that they equalised right at the end, because we really looked like we went into that half time deserving that lead. So that equaliser was just a sucker punch, really.
Well, I was going to say, for me, that the rest of that first half, we looked so dominant, and then the free kick, they said, holding, was the commentary that they said. And I thought, really, I know in the Premier League now, if you do go arm over, but I've seen that not given. I don't know, Wenger in his post-match said that was really extremely, extremely harsh, but I don't know, I thought now it's rules regardless if the arm goes over now, even if it's the most minimal of touches, that's it, it's an instant free kick or whatever anyway, isn't it? I believe.
Yeah. I think the old holding cliche was quite funny, and it was soft. It was very, very soft, but I mean, you could set up any wall in the world and you could be any keeper, but fair play, he's pinged it in top bins from that distance. Yeah. You can't stop that. And realistically, I actually thought, regards to the young centre backs, I thought in the first half, I thought Callum Chambers played very well, and I don't think Holding looked all at sea in the first half, but I think with that incident, he was very unlucky to be penalised, and you get punished, though, don't you?
You're lucky with the when you watch the games on the TV and everything, you get all the different angles, and it's like you said, that goal's unbelievable set piece. The angle and everything else, and the spin. There's like no backlift as well. It's just great. It's just a great. I hated seeing it because it was against Arsenal, but if you're a neutral and you wanted to watch goals, bloody hell, you got a bloody good one there. It's unbelievable.
Definitely, but as Jez said though, in the first half, we looked pretty decent in midfield, and we did control the game. And although we didn't create a lot, and we didn't see a lot in the final third from either of our central midfielders, like you touched on, JJ, Coquelin was pressing very high, and the reason we scored the goal is because of Coquelin's high pressing. But you just sort of sense when it went to 1-1, maybe something needed to change, and it got to half time, and really it all fell apart, didn't it, Wayne?
Well, moving on, going into the second half of the game. Bloody 3 minutes in, 48th minute, Adam Lallana slots it in, and you just think, for fuck's sake. I was fuming because when I was watching it, I'm like, right, Bellerin now, all right, you've let him do it, all right, maybe now you're gonna do it now. He was so asleep there. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And then Sheck for me as well. I think it's because he was in no man's land, but I thought Szczesny didn't go on loan to Roma when running out of the goal like that. I thought it was suicide. And then we go 2-1 down, and like I said, you just think, fuck's sake, really.
It was so early. I don't know what you thought, Jazz, about Petr Cech. I thought he was at fault there, to be honest with you. And
I think if you watch it against, like I said, he's literally got no one. So he's like, fuck it, I'm going to have to do it myself. He thought, I'm going to have to. I
also think, though, mate, JJ, I look at that and I think if he retains his position on his line, it makes it 100 times harder for Coutinho to slot that away. And I'm all for closing the angle, but I don't think there was an angle to close there, really. And I think the angle was created by Cech being so close to the ball almost. And it was such a frustrating goal to concede that quick after half time, and it really, you could just sense the life was sucked out of the stadium. It was almost like a deja vu, and it was painful.
Jez, what did you make of it, mate?
Yeah, I think they just responded to. I think Klopp must have been a pretty decent team talk at half time, but looks like they came out a different looking team, but we just got caught cold, and then from there, like was said, the heads just dropped, and then I don't know, the collapses began from there, really, didn't it?
And we talk about collapse. For me, when that happened, instantly, as a team out there, all of them, apart from I think possibly, for me, in my opinion anyway, El Neni. The rest of them just look like that's it now. All right, we pulled 2 back, but just certainly after the Lallana goal as well, it just looked like you said was like, well, that's it. That's deja vu all over again. That's us for today. I saw no really after that. See, that's the thing. It looked so starved of leadership, and we've said this for so long. And you got a bloke there like Xhaka, or I don't know. Sheck was the captain today. All right, but he's in goal. He can't really command that much. But I just anything. Just none of them. It was like boys. It was like boys that it just looked like that's it. They had their ball and they went home. It just looked like their arseholes just dropped. That's the best phrase that I can think.
I think what we saw, JJ, with the two young and inexperienced centre backs, and I'm a big Callum Chambers fan, and Rob Holding's just signed and that, but the geezer's used to playing Championship football for Bolton, and he's being thrown in against Liverpool in the Premier League, and it's a completely.
I feel incredibly sorry for him. And he must be crushed.
And it's not just against Liverpool. You're playing alongside a fellow professional who has really had. You look at game time at the highest level, he's had minimal. Like Callum Chambers has had minimal game time, and we started to see a pattern where the fullbacks were too advanced, and you kept seeing the centre backs dragged into areas they didn't want to be. Like time and time again, we saw Chambers being pulled out into an area where that he's not comfortable. And we saw it in pre-season with Gabriel, for instance, where he couldn't close down that cross. Like that's something we see too often at Arsenal.
Yeah, just touching on that, I think I just wonder what's the point of investing in that if you're just going to feed him to the line side on the first day.
Well, yeah.
You could look back to Chambers, that game he had against Swansea a year or two ago.
Yeah, with Montero.
Yeah, and he got ripped to bits, and then you could argue he never recovered from that. He doesn't look the same player. His confidence was shot after that, and you wonder if the same thing might be going on here with Holding. You just hope not.
No, you hope not. But also, I would say in Wenger's defence, and I say in defence lightly because I'm personally of the opinion that to go into a Premier League season with not one senior fit centre back is it's just beyond laughable. He has signed Holding as a centre back, and he does believe in his ability. Whether it's too early or not, that is his natural position. But I wouldn't have been so against Monreal coming in there. And like we discussed earlier, Koscielny should have been back. I'm sorry, he should have been back.
And not much else happens after that. And on the 55th minute, Coutinho, it just thump. And I'm like you said, like a sucker punch. For me, that just comes so out of nowhere. They were sort of advancing, and I thought, the cross has come in, and then he just sort of seemed to come out of nowhere, and like what I just said, thump. And I was just like, oh bloody hell! That one did piss me off. I was pissed off at Lallana, but that one really did. That proper fucked me off. That one. I was just like, here we go.
It was just too easy, wasn't it? It was all too easy. Monreal doesn't prevent the cross. Coutinho gets across his man. And it's just...
He tucked that way in his sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the killer. That is, at that point in the game, you're sort of thinking, bloody hell, like, really? Have we really come out like this? Have we really come out in the second half at home? First game of the season? Have we really come out? And Wenger has backed this squad to the hilt, and he said, we've got quality, we've done this. We went into the game with not one fit senior striker and not one fit senior centre-back against Liverpool at home. And we've gone 3-1 down. And you're like, wow, this ain't good. This really ain't good. Like, you can come up with as many permutations about injuries and players not being fit or not. Like, you do not concede 3 goals at home on the first day of the season, regardless. And it just got worse, didn't it?
Yeah. It was terrible. Jazz, what have you got to say on the matter, mate?
Yeah, it was just one after the other, wasn't it, in quick succession. And then, we just looked lost. I think it reminded me of that game last season against West Ham, not too long ago. It was at the back end of last season where we just, after 1 goal went in, then 2 and 3 came after that, didn't they?
It was certainly just, it was soul crushing. Like, it's the best way to describe it. Absolutely.
There's a real lack of response. There was no response from anyone. You could. I looked up and I looked up and I looked at the players and I couldn't see one of them. Not one of them. I couldn't see one of them players on that pitch turn around and think, "Right, we're 3-1 down. We've got to do something here." And I really didn't see it from anyone. And after the 3-1, I mean, Czech made a save at 3-1. I don't know if you remember. We were all over the shop. Literally, they could have. It could have been any score. I mean, Firmino dragged Chambers out wide. Monreal was nowhere to be seen. And they literally were creating chances at will. And then, Mane.
But it's like we said, there was no one there. There's no calming effect. There's no one to be like, right, look, it's 3-1. Let's just chill it out. Because it's like you said, the heads were gone. Like, people just running into bloody all sorts of spaces and doing all sorts. I don't know what happened. I don't know where all of a sudden who started it. We were just playing these stupid over-the-top through balls that just kept going for throw-ins, or they were just heading them in there. And I'm like, we've never done this. We've never pinged like balls like this over the top like that ever. I'm like, whose idea is this? Who started doing this? Like, Chambers done a few of them, and I swear, like 2 or 3 went for a throw-in. It just like the whole game plan and everything just went right out the window. We were just clutching at straws.
Well, the way I looked at the game, JJ, to be honest with you, mate, is I think it was, like I said earlier, it was so similar to last season. I do not understand playing 2 deep line midfielders at home. And this is a fact from today that Coquelin and El Nene completed 60 passes between them, the 2 of them. Callum Chambers completed 70. Now, them 2 are the heart of your midfield. If you're playing Aaron Ramsey at number 10, who was so detached from the game, and you can talk as much as you like about him being good in that final third, but I think the bloke needs to be switched on all the time. I think he needs to be involved in the heart of the game, or I think he loses it. I think he loses concentration, and I think he becomes ineffective. And I think we couldn't get our wingers involved in the game. Alex Iwobi looked like a championship footballer today, and I don't want to be too harsh on him, because obviously he's a very talented young lad, but he really didn't look great. I mean, El Nene only made, everyone talks about him, what he offers, but he only made 36 passes today. There was 8 other players, including Chambers, Monreal and Holding, who completed more than him. Now, you need more than that to play for Arsenal Football Club. And you need more than just playing the ball. You need to be there in the final third. In the defensive third, El Nene is all at sea. He is literally like Denilson in a wig at times. And I've said it before. It is like watching Denilson in a wig. And I don't want to bash him too much, because he's a £5 million player who has been signed, who is worth a lot more than £5 million. And you can see his qualities, and he's very early in his career at Arsenal. But in a game like that, against Liverpool, at home, with 2 young centre-backs, I expect more. I expect a lot more. And I just don't think it really paid off. He took a big gamble, Wenger, and the 2 deep CMs.
Just going on Iwobi quick, like you said, he looked like a championship player out there today. And on the 58th minute, he went off for Oxlade-Chamberlain. That was something I forgot to mention when we talked at the beginning. Arguably, Oxlade-Chamberlain's been the best player for us pre-season. You look at that left back and everything else, and you look at Walcott, or I prefer Walcott on the right personally. I wouldn't have put Walcott on the left or whatever, but surely you repay the boy for his effort in the pre-season. Surely, I can justify Iwobi, rate Iwobi a lot, love the guy. But I just thought, like, what? He's had the best pre-season out of all the players. Why ain't he in there? And when he did come on, Ramsey went off on the 60th because all of that injury looked bad. I thought he was hurt from the first half when he got on the top of his ankle from Lallana. And I thought, all right, he got a bit of the ball as well, but I thought, that's a nasty one. If you see the replays and watch them back, that one I thought he's hurt from that. But it was his hamstring, I think, in the end that's done him. But on the 63rd minute, we talk about the Mane goal there. Chambers, in the words of my father, spun like a hot point. But then again, Monreal today, That's the worst game I've seen him in an Arsenal shirt for a long, long time. And I don't know if it's just me, and I'm a massive advocate for the guy. I think out of the majority of the team, when we lose or whatever, or we have a bad game, Monreal at least is a solid 7 or 8 out of 10. He never puts a foot, but he just looked lost. And I don't know if it's because of the two young centre-backs or whatever. He looked so, lethargic, even his movement and everything, and it was all wrong. It just all looked wrong for him.
As a whole, I look at that team today, and Monreal was particularly poor, and he did leave young centre backs to sort of hang out to dry in a sense. But I think you bring that on yourself when you play two deep line midfielders at home, and I'd like to see us be a bit more aggressive and let Monreal sit in there alongside his centre backs. Don't ask Monreal to be like maraudering up the park. Like, let him sit in there alongside the two young centre backs, keep a strict back four, and let the additional midfielder add the man in the final third. I think today we approached the game completely wrong, especially with the young boys. And El Nene, for all his good attributes, he needs to contribute more in the final third. And if it's not him, it's Coquelin. And if you want Coquelin in the final third, you're bonkers. Personally, I think you're absolutely mental. And I just think with Nacho, he was trying to put a stamp on the game, but I don't think it was a game for him to put a stamp on. And really, Klopp sort of schooled us in the second half, and it got a little bit embarrassing. And when you see Arsenal go 4-1 down with that Mane goal, like you said, and Arsene Wenger still sat there with his hands sat in his pockets, and Klopp's just took the piss out of him really in the second half. And I don't know what Jazz thought about the old Monreal situation and the team, but I just thought it just got bad to worse. It was a really bad day today.
Yeah, it might just be me, but I think when you play those two holding midfielders, like you said, I think the fullbacks got to overcompensate, and then you just saw them. They're trying to push up and try and support the attack, and then at the end of the day, I think Monreal, you're asking too much of him to push forward and help out with the attacks, and then at the same time protecting Chambers as well. I think you're asking too much of him on the same time. And then I think Woz could probably tell a bit better about this, but when it went to 4-1, I think it get really ugly. The atmosphere just kind of just changed. It really did sour a bit around the ground. That's how it came across on TV. And I think Wenger's getting a bit of abuse as well. So I don't know, that Ox goal came just at the right time.
Yeah, it was quite funny, JJ. I'll tell you this now. We sat there, and when we went 4-1 down, it was just. I mean, it's only the third time ever. I think it's the third time we've ever conceded 4 goals at the Emirates, and one of them was a 4-4 against Spurs, I think, and then Chelsea done us 4-1, I think. But literally, when that fourth goal went in, I was astonished. Now, this is the first game of the season. We waited all summer. I mean, a couple of years ago, remember we went Goodison Park and we scored 6?
Yeah.
Danielson scored.
Yeah, that was Vermaelen's first game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I remember he scored on his day,
Yeah, and literally I was in dreamland. And today, when the fourth goal went in, it was obviously all the protests last season and that at the Emirates. It was not nice. And I actually think, and Thierry Henry touching it, that it weren't that bad at 4-1. Like, I was expecting a lot worse backlash, but I think the worst thing of all is I think people are resigned to it. They were sort of almost expecting it, and it was absolutely crazy. I really couldn't believe what I was seeing, and at 4-1, I mean, a lot of people left, and it was only 60 odd minutes.
Yeah, I was just about to say to you, whereabouts do you sit? Because just after the Mane goal went in, and I think Oxlade's goal did go in as well. Sky did a big pan of like the crowd, and they honestly, I was like, have they been empty? They weren't empty the whole game, but it's looked like it cleared out then.
Yeah, I mean,
and I was like, bloody hell.
If you're watching the TV I'm sort of the left opposite corner flag, so 13, so the same side as the away fans, but the other corner, if you know what I mean. And literally, as soon as that fourth goal went in, I've never heard. It was like so many people going, "Oh, fucking had enough." And I was thinking to myself, we're 60 minutes into a new season, and
Yeah.
like, how is this happening? Like, the team were underprepared.
Yeah.
We weren't tactically in control of the game at home. We didn't look dangerous at home. We conceded 4 goals, and then thank God that Ox did score that goal, and it was a big deflection, but lovely run, brilliant to get in there.
Yeah.
And if that goal literally went in, like you said, it almost took the sting out of the venom as such. But even at 4-1, I don't think the Arsenal fans were as venomous as they could be, because we've had previously, like, say, for instance, the Villa game. I don't know if you remember it. Yeah, the old spend some fucking money. You know what I mean? It's like, and it could have been really venomous, and we got that goal. And
well, there was a ringing. You don't know what you're doing, Sean.
There was, and it was lingering, and I could hear it, and it was clear, and I nearly joined in, but I didn't want to. I was more in. I'd like to say I was in shock, but I was more in sort of acceptance, because I genuinely have got used to Arsenal playing this way at home, and it didn't surprise me, and that was the worrying thing. We've now got a squad where this sort of thing happens, and we've got no one who's going to stand up and fight. And Arsene Wenger, I didn't believe in his lineup, and I think the whole stadium was deflated, and it was more of an acceptance than an anger.
Just touching on that Mane goal quick, and I just want to ask you both. Was during the summer we did quite a few podcasts on the Euros, and we talked about Conte and we talked about Italy, and we both laughed and agreed at what I called shithousery by the Italian centre backs.
Yeah.
Now, Chambers and Holding weren't booked that whole game. Monreal weren't on. I think he weren't on a booking either. I could be wrong. When he's running through like that before he's in the box, are we just too nice?
Yeah. I'd
have just took him out. I'd have gone, screw it, all right, Coutinho, all right, he scored that free kick earlier. Maybe he would have scored the other one, but take him out.
Well, the thing I laugh at, JJ, is Coquelin was on a yellow card for a long time in the first half, and he's the kind of player that will get himself sent off, sort of thing. And chasing the game at 4-1, that's when we bring Granit Xhaka on and pile all the pressure on him. Or it was 4-2 at the time, but it just don't seem to make any sort of sense that Chuba Akpom is the only centre forward in our entire squad today.
But is Arsenal just too? Are we just too sweet of a? I don't know.
Well, yeah, I reckon.
I think if it was Gabriel, I think Gabriel would have just he'd have nutted him.
I'd have bet him. Yeah, he'd said, "Oh, fella, you got to go there," because when Mane's dancing around you like that, like you said, fucking have him up in the air. You've got to take the booking, because sometimes
I'm not saying Eduardo the boy. No, I'm like stick a foot, trip him up, anything,
rugby tackle him, get your arm around him, like just stop him, like.
Yeah.
Not intentionally hurt him, like you said, but sometimes, like you say, I think, to be fair, Coquelin and I think Xhaka has got that streak in him. But that aside, everyone is too nice. And that's another thing with Moel Nene. He's a big geezer in there. I want to see him get aggressive. Like, I want to see him, stick a foot in and sort of... He's a big lad. He's a big lad. So... Someone should have hauled him down, and he danced through us really, and it was a fantastic finish. But Mane is an exciting footballer, but like you say, just get him down, get him on the deck before he can do the damage.
Yeah, and what about yourself, Jazz? Are you in agreement, or do you think we, they obviously didn't play it right, but do you think that's just not in the Arsenal DNA to do? Obviously now Firmini's gone as well. He was sort of the last really one to do it, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, you say that about Arsenal, but I think an experienced head there would just have taken the foul. I think Koscielny 9 out of 10 times would bring him down there and take the foul.
Yeah.
I think that just comes back to the inexperience. I think they already shipped 3 goals. They're scared to get close to him. And then Xhaka came on. I think there was a stat. He ended up making more fouls than any other player on the pitch. 4 or 5 in the end. And that's just overcompensating, really. In the end, we're just chasing shadows, really.
And we go to the 74th minute. Chambers pulls one back. Great delivery by Cazorla, but I thought maybe we'd do typical Arsenal and throw all the Alamo on, bomb everybody forward, and maybe concede another one, and then really shit hits the fan. But it was still quite a bit conservative. But for me, I don't know if it's because he's not match fit or whatever. But again, like Monreal, Cazorla today, even when he come on, walked. No running in. Experienced international player. Rumoured that he was going to be the captain this week in some publications. All right, they're not really the best ones. I'm like, if you're going to be the captain, where's your drive? You know, where is it? Where's your urgency? Where's your kick or whatever? You know, if you're going to bring on someone to play I would have brought Jack on. At least he would have gone, right, let's give me the ball here. At least he'd scream and shout. I don't know. I don't know. People go, well, you know, screaming and shouting, where does it get you? Flamini used to scream and shout. I'm talking about it from a different aspect. You know, I grew up watching Tony Adams. He grabbed people by the scruff of the neck. Sol Campbell, Lehman in the changing room. I think it was Toure, grabbed him by the throat. Don't you ever fucking do that again. Where's that? There's none of that.
Yeah, it is a bit nicey. And with regards to Santi, I mean, I personally thought for the balance of the side, Santi Cazorla had to start at number 10 for me. And I do think at home, especially at home, Aaron Ramsey or Jack Wilshere or someone needs to play alongside a defensive midfielder to add that extra man in the final third, because we didn't look like scoring at any point today and we scored 3 goals. I actually don't think we looked like scoring throughout that game, which sounds ridiculous because we scored 3 goals. But I didn't look at us today and think, yeah, bloody hell, we're exciting. And like you said, JJ, when Santi puts it on a sixpence, nice little flick from Chambers, the one he never had when Welbeck nodded it at Leicester. He was about a yard behind him, ready for it. And he nodded that in, and you think, right, bloody hell, we've been atrocious here. We've conceded 4 goals at home, but there's 15, 20 minutes to go nearly, and we're back in the game. And we didn't create a chance. Alexis Sanchez was hung out to dry today. He really was hung out to dry. And I personally think he's got qualities to play centre forward, but today he proved that against a big team, it really didn't work, especially with the defensive midfielders so detached from the situation. And, well, it's just painful, mate.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like you said, he has the qualities to play centre forward, but I think he'd play better in a 2. Like Henri and all them were saying, I really think like Giroud was with Griezmann, I'd be all over that. That would suit us to a T.
Or you mentioned
he'd be bloody brilliant for that.
Yeah, you mentioned Giroud, and that is the. Do you know what I actually I said, oh mate, I go with every week. I turn around and I said to him, do you know what? I wouldn't be adverse to Yaya Sanogo coming on in, just to cause a bit of chaos. Remember, big goal. Everyone used to mud Benter off, and yeah, he was a donkey, but he had big goals in him. He had late goals against teams like Wolves, and literally we would just get a focal point in the box, and we literally today we had nothing. We couldn't cross the ball to anyone. Like even Sanogo in there would have provided some sort of chaos, whether it's a nice chaos or a terrible chaos. He would have been there or thereabouts. And I'm not advocating Yaya Sanogo starting for Arsenal, but what I'm saying is that without Olivier Giroud, if we're in the market for a centre forward, I personally think we need something physically and stature-wise similar to Olivier Giroud, because I'm not all keen on bringing Alexander Lacazette on against teams that are going to sit deep and invite us on, because I don't think we can play in behind these teams. And I think players like Vardy, you'll see this season, struggle a little bit more. And unless you're Aguero-esque and you can get that extra yard out of nowhere, I think really Arsenal need a focal point, and we just didn't have it today. And we didn't look like ever scoring again unless we got a set piece or something, and it was just so painful, man.
Yeah, I think coming back to what you said, in that 4-3-3 which you switched to a few years ago, there's only 2 players that really made it work. It was Van Persie and Giroud, and you notice with both of them they've got that presence about them and they can lead a line by themselves. I think with Alexis you're never going to get that of him, and even with Lacazette, like you mentioned, they're not the kind of player that can lead a line by themselves. They can only do it in a 2. So I think unless we change our system, I guess Giroud is still our best option up there.
Yeah.
It's just really tough, isn't it? It's so tough. And like you said, never looked like scoring. That final whistle goes, and you were there was how much of a, because you said a lot of people just sort of accepted it, but how much of a chaos or meltdown did it get? I mean, the meltdown on the timeline's one thing, but what was it like in there, mate? Was it palpable?
It was very strange because it was almost as if there was booze, but it wasn't. It wasn't like overwhelmingly booze. It was like, but it was.
I just think people had the energy so sucked out they just felt, I can't even be bothered to do that.
It was almost like that, mate. And a lot of people had left, and a lot of people around me are avid Arsene Wenger fans, and they love him and they're back into the hill, and they. But there was a lot of people around me today that I've been going with for years, and they were just sort of questioning the situation now, and the whole going into the start of the season with no senior centre backs and strikers, and every single person around me is saying the same thing, and it ain't a minority anymore. And we had that whole protest situation, and there were a lot of people being physically and verbally against that. And today, no one batted an eyelid, and it was almost as if no one would back Wenger, but they didn't want to boo, and it was sort of, we're at halfway street and we're 90 minutes into the season, and I don't want to write the season off already, and I don't want to write Arsene Wenger off already, and I'd love nothing more than for him to succeed. But it just seemed like we were seeing the same situation occur again, and the stadium sort of saw that. Last season we had well, it was double figures the amount of games we didn't win at home, and you can't be doing that as Arsenal Football Club. And it was the same old thing, to concede 4. You wait all summer and concede 4 at home with poor old Holding, who's just signed from Bolton in the Championship, and Callum Chambers hung out to dry, and you spend £35 million on Granit Xhaka, and he's on the bench, and you got no centre forward, and it was just a shambles. It really was a shambles, and it could be one that we could just look at and brush under the carpet and go on and win our next 5 or 6 games. But really, Wenger has got a massive 2 weeks or whatever it is before this window closes, and he has got to get 2, maybe 3 players with clearly a centre back. We need another centre forward, and I personally think we're in need of another wide man, a proper signing, not a squad player, someone you can look at and go, wow, like this geezer's.
There's some calling for 2 centre backs, even though I don't know personally if he'll do that, but. In his press conference, he said, it did cost us having a severe lack of experience at the back. But I'm like, you make these decisions. You got 10 million reasons why you make these decisions. Like, you can't blame it because you picked it.
That interview, like you said, I watched it. Obviously, being at the game, I didn't see it after, but you mentioned it before the pod, and I did watch it, and I picked up on a few things. Wenger said, the players lacked physically to last 90 minutes. Hang on a minute. How the hell do these players lack to last physically for 90 minutes when we've spent a whole pre-season preparing these players? Yeah. And then he said, but they have the mental qualities to fight back. And then they was questioned about what's it like, the fans booing at the end, and he said, that's not pleasant being booed of, but again, the mental strength will bounce back. We've been on a 10-game unbeaten run, and it's a shame to lose that now. I mean, that is delusion of the highest. It is almost slapping me in the face, it felt like. It actually, watching that, it almost felt like, am I a mug going to watch this today? Like, am I seeing this from a completely different universe? We've just conceded 4 goals at home against Liverpool in the first game of the season, and we're talking about mental qualities and mental strength and players lacking physicality in the first game of the season. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, that's the Wenger bingo, isn't it? I mean, you get they say you play the old press conference drinking game, and then when you're in mental strength, quality, bounce back ability, all this. He's like Alan Partridge the way he goes on about bouncing back. It's a fucking joke, mate. It is. It's an absolute joke, and I'll let Jazz have a say. Go on, mate. I know
it's just a bit
sort of.
It just reminds me of the back end of last season, and it's just a bit like a broken record, really. It's just pulling out the same old quotes, but you look at them and you think these are your own doing. Why are the players not fit? Why are we short at the back? These are all things that should have been sorted out weeks ago. you say like when we signed Holding, that should have been the time when we signed that third experienced defender. And the wide player and the centre forward, they should have all been wrapped up by now. You could argue that these weren't available yet, but you've seen some top quality forwards move already this summer, and you could argue we could have gone for some of them. But we're just left in a bit of a mess right now. We're just playing catch up already.
I mean, it's the wording, I lacked experience at the back. I don't know if it's because I'm such a big fan of the guy anyway. But I'm like, you lack a leader, you wanted an experienced centre-half, you wanted one that could come in and do a job in the Premier League. Ashley Williams this week went for 10 million quid. 10 million quid. And people go, he's too old. We paid 10 million quid for a 33-year-old goalkeeper last year. This guy's 2 years younger than that. You're telling me he couldn't slot in?
The thing is, JJ, I think the first time I've ever looked at Wenger, I think in that interview today, I actually thought he almost looked defeated.
Yeah.
He actually looked, to me...
He looked like he expected that to happen.
And it was almost as if he sort of... I don't know. I mean, you've got to question the man's hunger and the man's drive to succeed now at the top level. I mean, is it too comfortable for him? And we've made it easy for Arsene Wenger this summer. I mean, a lot of people's argument in the past has been that there's no managers out there. I mean, you look this summer... In the last sort of 18 months, you've had Jurgen Klopp, Ancelotti, Guardiola, Mourinho, Conte, all these managers, even Koeman, they've all changed hands. And we're still here with the same manager, the same mistakes, the same lack of centre-forward to rotate with Giroud, the same players coming back after international duty at the Euros or the World Cup. We've struggled time and time again after this, same extended break. We're suffering from the same issues over and over again. And at first you could say, all right, it's a one-off, it'll change. Then it happens again another season, we'll change. Last season we finished second, right? Man City, Chelsea, Man United and Liverpool all had seasons like they won't have again this year.
Yeah.
Now we need to look at that. I think Tottenham have improved. I think Tottenham bringing in Vincent Janssen is a fantastic deal, and I think that'll provide Kane a bit of rotation. I think they brought in players like Wanyama to back up Eric Dyer, and it gives them the option of playing the two. They've bought well. You look at Leicester. Yes, they're still champions. They might struggle a bit more this season, and I'm personally of the belief they won't be up there, but there's every possibility they will. Then you've got.
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing. Was we play Leicester next?
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
The way that we got paced out and done today. If that Musa and, Mahrez, if he's still there, you never know. That's still rambling on. I think if we did, the conditions would be you can't play him against us on the weekend. I think they'd be very, very against that. But if we do, and I'm talking, I don't really like to deal with hypotheticals, but we go 6 points off in 2 games straight away. Do you know what I mean?
Mate,
6 points down.
The slow start after international tournaments isn't exclusive to this year. If you look at the history, we've made notoriously a slow start. After the last 3 major tournaments, we've really struggled, and you can't be going out giving points away at home. I mean, most teams win the league and they drop 12 points max at home. Yeah. We dropped 3 already, and last season it was the same. Before Christmas we had dropped too many points, and I want to see Arsenal succeed. Everyone wants to see Arsenal succeed to a man, and whether they're Wenger out, Wenger in, all that rubbish, everyone deep down wants to see Arsenal Wenger succeed. But I think too many people now are seeing nothing but failure and consistent discrepancies in the way he manages the club and the things that happen. And we are again sat here in August, waited all summer, first game of the season, and to hit it to a T, we've gone out there with no senior centre-backs, no senior centre-forwards, and we are still a long, long way off winning this Premier League title, and it's heartbreaking, mate. Actually, tonight has been very hard, and the day
like we said when we watched it, when he got that first FA Cup win the other year, he looked like he had a new lease of life again. He had a big smile on his face. He looked younger, And today, watching it, I'm asking you guys to, think a bit back and stuff. It looked like Cloughie at Forest at the end. I just had that vibe to him, just that look. Like you said, not like defeated, but it just looks like even he's sort of thinking, I think the gig might be up here now. And it's the first game of the season.
Jazz, what do you reckon on Arsenal? We don't want to get into an Arsenal in and out debate, do we? But
no.
Nah, more than you guys. Same with me. I was wanting him to succeed, but I do think after that FA Cup win, it looked like the right time for him to go. And then you also got to wonder, like, these managers, they move around in cycles, and you got to think, like, we missed the boat now with Guardiola, Klopp, even Conte, all of these managers that we could have gone after, even Ancelotti. And it'll be a good 3-4 years before any of them become available again. So honestly, I do think this season might just spiral. Just looking at his demeanour, I don't know. It just looks like a man lost at the moment. But you do have to wonder, due to the lack of like options out there, if he does get us a top 4 again, can you see him signing another contract?
JJ, I was about to say here, you look at this, right? I personally think the club should have made a stand this summer, and if they had any bollocks about them, they would have either said, look, Arsene, if you're not going to sign another deal, I'm sorry, we're going to do it. We're going to appoint someone else. We're going to have Pep and Arteta in our dugout this year. Or, all right, Arsene, we'll believe in you. We believe there's one more contract in you. We're going to sign a 3-year deal. And any prospective players out there looking to join a football club, Thierry Henry touched on it after the show, and he's got a lot of stick for it, but Henry is speaking from the heart, and you can see he's gutted, right?
He looked like he wanted to cry, mate.
He's gutted, mate. He's like one of us. He's gutted. I don't care what anyone says about him. That geezer lives and breathes Arsenal Football Club, and yes, he's getting paid.
To be called bitter, I saw people saying, "Oh, he's just bitter."
Oh, he's not bitter, mate. He's
not bitter at all. He cares. That's care.
And what he said is what really upset me, because Thierry Henry is speaking from a player that chose as a World Cup winner to sign for Arsenal Football Club, and he said, "Our players out there really looking at England and seeing Arsenal as their choice now," and that is really to the point. And he is questioning the man that made his career, that made Thierry Henry everything he is. And I'm sure Thierry Henry loves him like he loves his own family. And he can just see it from a fan's point of view. And he's not bitter. He's not bitter at all. He just wants to see Arsenal succeed, and he wants to see Arsenal succeed. But if he can't question him, then who can? Because he's been closer to Arsene Wenger than anyone over the years, and he's done more for Arsene Wenger than any player in our history. And that is Thierry Henry, sat there from the heart, the man who's got a statue, who cried his eyes out when we unveiled it, talking about our club and questioning it. And it really got me. I sort of thought, wow, like, this is more than just a blip. This is now becoming something serious.
You know how you know he really cares as well? Is when he's talking, the others, and you get it with Wrighty, you get it when Adams is on things, Charlie Nicholas, he goes, we. We doing this. We need to do that. He don't go Arsenal, he goes we. Because he he's still got that, I'm an Arsenal mentality, I'm an Arsenal man. That for me, to slag him off like that. It's like people that are Arsenal fans that trolled and abused Wrighty during the summer. How can you do that? How can you do that? It makes no sense whatsoever. And like you said, he's got a statue. Wenger deserves his statue.
He does.
And I'm like, but this mate at the moment is going to tarnish your legacy. And it shouldn't. He should leave in bloody critical acclaim.
I think, like Jazz touched on, when he won that FA Cup, and when Ferguson done similar, he won that last trophy. He spunked his load on Van Persie. He won the last trophy, and he said, "Tada, I'm going out, the legend I am, and I'm leaving you in the shit." And that's not Wenger's way. And
no.
But he's got to turn around and sort of, you've got to start questioning that. I tweeted about it the other day. I think that Arsene Wenger come in 20 years ago and revolutionised English football. And I think this is about to happen again with a young, fresh breed of managers like Pochettino, like Guardiola, like Klopp, like Conte, and football's going to evolve again. But Arsene Wenger isn't evolving with them times, and you can see it in everything he does. And I would love for Arsene to still do it, but I'm just so worried about this season because I do think even managers like Bilic and Koeman, who are for everyone's money, good managers, but second-rate managers, you have to start questioning whether, where's it going to go this season? We shouldn't be too down because it's one game and we've got to put it in perspective. But let's be honest here. It's not a one-off today, and we can't be conceding 4 at home. And I'm just devastated, mate. To be honest.
But you can't help but think, if he did go at the end of this season, which I think he probably will. We have missed other than trying to tempt Tuchel from Dortmund. That I can't think of anybody at a big level that, apart from maybe low at Germany as well. I can't pluck a name out for you because Simeone wouldn't. I don't think Simeone would attain Arsenal because I think deep down there is an issue there with that money, and I think Simeone would be like, "That's what I need. These are my conditions, and if I don't get it, I'm not doing it." So I know people go yes man, and there is that extent to it. I do believe he's a boardroom's wet dream. But at the same time, this summer this is the first time in a long time we've got concrete evidence that bids have been made for Lacazette, bids were made for Vardy. So he's rolling the dice at it, and you're starting to find out now. I truly believe that maybe they've gone. There's more money there than I think, but they've gone. Nah, you've got to curb it. You've already done 35 million, so this is the other. And he said we're working hard to get one of the two I'm looking at in, and I believe that probably is going to be Mustafi. I don't know. It could be anybody. You just never know. He's rolling a dice, which is the first time in a long time.
JJ, wouldn't you suggest though that maybe the money is there and Wenger ain't willing to pay an extra 5 or 10 million more than what he believes? But is that him,
or is that because they're not giving him it? Because you've got to look at it. He's rebranded or whatever, American football franchise, and he's moving St. Louis Rams to Los Angeles Rams or whatever, isn't he?
I think the money's there, mate. On a personal,
I believe the money's there, but he could be a tight ass.
Even Gazidis came out. He said he's been pushing Wenger to get these signings over the line, but Wenger's told him to calm down. So it might just be on Wenger's end that he doesn't want to put the money forward. And he said just the other week, as a top manager, you got to treat the money as if it's your own. So I don't know.
Yeah, Wenger did come out and say that. But also with Gazidis, we heard Gazidis come out 3 years ago saying that in the next 18 months, Arsenal are going to be able to compete with any club in world football in the transfer market. And Thierry Henry touched on it. He said, again, I don't want to go back to that speech from him, but he come out and said, Arsenal fans have sold it every summer that we can compete with any club in the market. And he said, comes to the transfer window close, and they turn around and say, we can't compete with these other clubs. And Thierry Henry hit the nail on the head. He said, which one is it? Let's be honest now. Which one is it? Let's be honest to these fans. Who's talking bollocks? Like, does Wenger not think the player's worth the money and he ain't coming out and doing it? Or are the board holding him back? And if you look at the signings of Xhaka, of Ozil, of Sanchez, realistically, for the quality they've got and the ability they've got, they were all very good deals. They were bargains.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me think, maybe it is Arsene sort of saying, I'm not going to pay a penny more than I believe this man's worth, and I'm not going to be mugged off, because 20 years ago, football was very different. And unfortunately, if you don't roll with the times, we're going to be left behind. He's got to just splash. He's got to take a risk. He's got to take a risk on someone. Morata for 60 million or someone. He's got to do something.
Yeah. But once you speak like that, during the week, he said that he was asked about Pogba and everything, and he said, the market's just getting stupid. Now, I remember years ago, he bought this gangly French boy from PSG for 500,000. Nicolas Anelka was his name.
Yeah.
And he sold him for 25 million. That was crazy back then. So it's it's been like this for years. I'm not having it now. I'm sorry, I'm not having it now that it's crazy. It's been crazy for ages, and I'm sorry. It's the sport, and we love the sport, but it's the entertainment business as well now. And you either spend big or you go home, and you get left behind.
I think for the thing that sums it up for me, the size of the clubs. I mean, I think financially and commercially, we're clearly one of the top 6 or 7 clubs in the world. That goes without saying now. On the pitch, we're nowhere near. Manchester United have not even made the Champions League this season. They've gone out and they've signed Mkhitaryan, who is one of the best wingers out there. They've signed Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who is a phenomenal centre forward. They've signed Eric Bailey, who is one of the best young centre backs out there. And they've also signed Paul Pogba. Now, this team are not even in the Champions League, and they've done that.
Yeah.
Where do we lie? Why do we leave Highbury? Why have we put ourselves in this situation? Why are we so well off? Let's do bits. Let's see some reward as fans. I mean, everyone wants to see us do something. Let's please, but it's getting a bit negative. But I don't know. It's easy to feel like this after losing 4-3 on the opening day of season at home with Rob Holding as one of your centre backs.
Jazz, do you want to add anything in before we wrap it up, mate?
Yeah, just I want to say, like, today was a 10-year celebration of the Emirates, and you got to say, in those 10 years, how many players we brought in. You say that move from Highbury, how it's going to be take us to the next level. But in those 10 years, how many players have we signed that you'd say Chelsea or Man United or Man City would have been after? You'd probably say Ozil and Alexa would probably be the two. In 10 years, that's like 20 transfer windows, and we brought in 2 players that you'd say could get into any side in the world. And I don't know, it's just a bit of a shame, really, that the fans, they bought this dream 10 years ago that moving into this new stadium will bring in this new revenue and take us to that next level, but we're really just still stuck at square one.
Mm-hmm.
Just quick before we do wrap it up, do you both believe that he's going to address the two? Because all summer I've had family members, others going, I think he's done now, that's it, or he'll get, and I've just gone, trust me, and I really do believe it. After today, I'm not saying he's going to do a supermarket sweep. Like, this ain't the 8-2 Man United level. It ain't got that bad. It's not even as bad as Villa. It's bad, but it's not as bad as Villa to me. But I still trust that they're going to sort it. They're going to get this. Like you said, even if we don't get a centre forward, I do believe that possibly he'll pull Mahrez in.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm like you. I'd love to believe that Arsenal would go out and do it. And everyone talks about madness. Oh, we're going to sign madness.
They're Chelsea fans, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. And it's all very nice, but deep down, part of me wants to think that he's going to really surprise us, and it could be a mega move. Like, I'm not talking good move. I'm talking like Lewandowski level, like Griezmann, something.
Well, that's the thing. Somebody said to me, a few of them said to me, I really do believe you're going to pull Lewandowski. He went, I seriously think you're going to pull Lewandowski.
Yeah.
And we're all going to go, how the bloody hell have you done this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, don't. I said, don't talk to me about it, because I'll get all excited.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like you, and we're all the same. We all get all excited, and we want to see players of this calibre coming to the club. And I'm sure Olivier Giroud wants to see players of this calibre coming to the club. And part of me wants to believe it'll happen. I think there's a lot of rumours about Mustafi having medicals and all that. And Mustafi, I think personally, would be a fantastic signing. I think he's a long-term successor to Per, and he's ready. He's an international footballer. He's ready. Callum Chambers, I think, in a long term. Rob Holding in a long term. But Mustafi is ready now, and I think he would partner Cost to a T. And I think that'd be a great signing. And I think Granit Xhaka was a fantastic signing. But for the life of me, I can't understand why he didn't bloody play. And then from then on, I really do think in the final third, if he's got a lot of belief in Joel Campbell, Iwobi, Walcott, and Chamberlain. But for me, I'd be boring off every single one of them to sign a world-class winger. Someone like Mkhitaryan who was available. Someone maybe like Draxler, or go out bust your bollocks for Royce and then also I still think we need another centre forward, which is, and I don't think Lacazette would suffice. And we talk about Mahrez, and I think it's an astute addition, but it don't wow me. I don't look at him and think, wow, we really mean business here. Like, when I look at Alexis Sanchez, I think, fucking hell, yes, that's a big deal. I don't look at Mahrez and think, yeah, that's unreal. Like, he had a good season last season, but he's never kicked a ball in the Champions League. Like, he's never proven himself at the highest level. Let's see how he gets on this season before you start spunking 50 million on him. But he has got to take a risk, so I'm just confused, JJ. I want to believe.
Yeah.
I want to believe that Wenger's going to do something, do a madness, or whatever it's called these days. But listening to him and looking at him and his demeanour and his belief in his current crop of players, and they call it the crony, like they were saying midweek, the Coney crash. Like, it is sort of like that. There comes a point where he's got to turn around and say, this geezer's got to come in. And like, you sort of think, I'm sorry, Coquelin, you had a great sort of 18 months, fella, and I'm a big Coquelin fan, but we've got Xhaka now, and he's on another level. But then he comes in and he don't play. He plays Coquelin. Yeah. I'm just confused, and I really do hope Wenger sorts it out sooner rather than later, because we could get left behind, like Jazz mentioned. We could be in trouble. But
Jazz, mate, I'll pass it to you. Do you think we're going to get these two? Maybe three? I don't think it'll be three. I think it will be two. But do you believe?
Yeah, if I had to call it now, I'd say Mustafi looks like the most likely to get over the line. That'll probably be done next week. And then it's just a toss-up between a centre forward and a winger. And I think that'll be done like close to the deadline. It's hard to call it, but I don't know. I feel like both areas need to be addressed. But if I was just gonna prioritise one, I've got to say a centre forward.
Yeah, I agree. As long as it ain't Bonnie, I'll be happy.
Yeah, who would you have, Jazz, out of interest?
What, centre forwards?
Yeah,
it's really tough to call because I don't know. Obviously, Lewandowski. I don't know where that came from, but a striker of that mold, you need someone who can lead the line by themselves. Like I said, in the last 5-6 years, we've only had Van Persie and Giroud who could lead the line by themselves. And unless we're switching to a 4-4-2, I think we need someone who could just carry that responsibility by themselves. And obviously, I didn't expect us to pay whatever it was a Higuain that was well over the odds, or I don't know, maybe Lacazette is even like 60 million, but we need to address that position.
I personally, I've rated Lacazette for years, and I think at Arsenal he'd do bits. Obviously, with the family out in Italy and Inter Milan being my club out there, I'm a big Icardi fan, and he brings a bit of baggage. He's a bit of a bastard, but like I said earlier, I think we're too nice. I think we need some bastards, and he's one of them as well. Where, all right, his goal return weren't great last year compared to some of the others around there, but he's one of them where if it drops to him and it's that one chance, he's got that game winning goal in him. So I like the cut of his mustard, I really do. But other than that, I don't know.
I know who I'd go. And if we can't,
if a Lewandowski was on the cards, mate.
Yeah, if we can't,
you've got to be in that conversation. Even if Real Madrid, you know, they're talking about all this stuff with Benzema, and that's ideally where he'd want to go, or you know, or if you're going to pay the big uns. All right, I know it was Griezmann was it 85? They said 85 mil was his release. I don't think we're ever going to pay that, but pay if Lacazette's 60 and Lewandowski's 60 or Aubameyang's 60, pick one of them three for me. But if Lewandowski's on the card, you take it. You've got to take it.
Do you know who I think fits the profile of everything about leading the line and all that? I think despite his goal-scoring record not being incredible, I think Alvaro Morata is the kind of player that will blossom and score goals. And I think if he's even slightly available at Madrid, and if a Lewandowski move to Madrid as such happened, then that's going to sort of snowball effect and leave Morata available. And I think the thing with Morata is he's very mobile for his size, and also he's got the ability to find a yard in the box where there ain't one. And often for Arsenal, that's something that you need more than anyone else. And I just think that Morata, despite his goal-scoring record not being great, I think he could develop massively. But We need something, anything. Do you know what I mean? Anything at the moment. Come on, seven. Come on, please.
Yeah, well, I'll end it there. It's been a bit of a sour one. Hopefully, there's 37 more league ones to go and the cups in between, so you'll probably have some happier ones eventually. But I want to thank you both for coming on. So thanks, Waz.
No, thanks, mate. And sorry I've been so down, but it's just, oh,
It's the
mate,
way it
I
is,
can't
mate.
drag myself out of this depression for the week. No papers, no teletext, even if that exists anymore. No internet, no Twitter. I can't deal with it. I've had enough.
Yeah, and thank you, Jazz, as well, for coming on, mate.
Yeah, cheers for having me on, mate.
Appreciate
I think things are going to get better from here.
Yeah, hopefully, and thank you all for listening, and take care of yourselves. Thank you. Thanks again.